Okay, let's look at the site. Here it is. Let's do a little bit of cleanup and some odds and ends that you might want to know. For instance, this here margin around this image, that really bothers me. I don't know. I either don't get why they did that, or I don't know how to remedy it. Oh well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that picture of the little girl. I'm going to copy the image location. I'm going to go to the image, paste that in there, and I'm just going to leave the caption out. Okay, because that just bothered me, sorry. So I'm going to copy this. Notice that when you type in the caption, it creates this extra figure, and that's what causes that caption. So I'm just going to get rid of that because I will not be able to continue. Okay, now I have that code. I'm going to find that little girl thing here. Okay, it's in main 2. Here it is. I'm just going to get rid of that because it just drives me nuts. Okay, so now we'll be able to see that it's going to go all the way across. I don't know what the caption is. So there it is. It's all responsive and ready to go. Another thing I'd like to point out is that you see how the menu is on top of the picture? That's because, and I kind of mentioned it as we went, if you look at the div here, you have the nested div underneath the image. If you didn't do it that way, if you put that nested div above the header image, this is what it would look like. It would be behind. You wouldn't even see it because it's behind the graphic. It's there, you just don't see it. So in case you don't see it, it's because you have to put the nested after the image in the header, and then it'll be on top. See? Another thing I'd like to point out, as long as we're pointing out stuff, in the menu, we know that we use the button B scheme. If you wanted to use the button A scheme, you would go and get your button code, and I'll just open up a new file here, and then we'll just get rid of it. We create a new one, make it a HTML, and then I am going to put my button code in the body, just so you can see, and then I can decide if I want a horizontal button. Here's the CSS for the horizontal button, which I could put in my head. Here's the CSS. And now if we take a look at that, I'm just going to save it as something here. And if we take a look at it, you'll see that it is this button bar, which is kind of cool. But if we wanted to, we could also make it a vertical. Here's the CSS for the vertical button. And so I'll just paste that in there instead. And when we look at it, it's now going to be vertical. So if you wanted a vertical button bar, that's what you do. That's the button A instead. Okay. So that's that. I thought you needed to know those things, those 3 things before we proceed.